Lightyear. So for this review, I'm going to do a kind of half spoiler review, half non-spoiler. The non-spoiler one will start, obviously, where I'll do the typical short reviews that I do, and then I will give the grade, and then I will do the spoilers. Well, the story has some issues, especially for anyone who's seen, Star Trek, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, or any of the sci-fi films or series based on, military and space. I still found it to be a fun and cute movie, with Socks being the standout character of the film, with Taika Waititi's character, I can't remember the name, I just know the actor. His character starts out as a tad annoying, but grows on you, or at least to me. Evans was fine as as a Hollywood version of Buzz Lightyear. If you consider this to be a Hollywood remake of like Star Command, instead of it being what they say it is, this is the movie that Andy made. This is the movie that Andy watched. So why did the toy sound nothing like the actor? Well, that's not the point. Some of the parts of the movie will be a tad confused by, especially the third act reveal, if you are a big fan of Toy Story 2, or Star Command. But you can chalk it up to the Hollywood Reboot. I found it to be a fun little adventure film, a kid's film. It's a B. I may buy it when it first comes out if it has a nice case to it. I have to look at the artwork, especially if it has something like a variant with Socks, the main character, or something. As I said, he was the best part in the movie. And that's going to be it for the non-spoiler review part. As I said, it gets a B. And you've been warned. So now let's get into what I consider to be the story problems with the movie. Star Command must be a very poorly run space unit, in my opinion. Because, well, let's start off with this. They land their entire vessel on a planet they know nothing about. Instead of sending an away mission or a shuttle crew, they send the entire thing. That would be like Kirk landing the Enterprise on every planet. They don't do that. They beam a crew down, or they send little planes, I just said it, crafts down. So, I mean, it's not like they don't have them. The test Buzz, though, are small planes, and obviously they'd have little vessels of their military unit. And then a giant thing goes missing. The ship goes missing. Star Command never goes looking for him. I mean, it's not like... I mean, I get that they're in constant contact with them. And Hawthorne, or Grandma, whatever you want to call her, doesn't send mission logs. She thinks they're stupid. No one reads them. But Buzz fills them out regularly and sends them, obviously, regularly. You know what you're supposed to do, because he's a follow the orders type of guy. So Star Command would obviously get a message from Buzz, no matter how long it would take. Hey, they were going to see this planet. And that's it. What happened to our ship? What happened to our crew? We lost all those people. They'd go looking for it. They never do. Star Command also is responsible for defending the universe. So where are the aliens? Where are the other beings? In this movie, besides humans, that's it. It's just humans and robots. You got like a couple robots in Star Command. They show alien life, but it's just like animals, bugs, and vines. And, okay, let's say they wanted to dump that defending the universe part of the Star Command speech, even though it was in Toy Story and it was in Star Command, the show. I'm going to start saying the series instead of Star Command, so that we aren't getting confusing, because they use the same names. But they mention it at the end of the movie, when the new commander, or when Buzz gets into this thing, he says defending the universe. So, it's obviously in there. And they're defending the universe from invaders. Hate to break it to them, the writers of this movie, but the humans are the invaders. Human beings belong on Earth. The human race belong on Earth. Anywhere else in the universe, we're an invasive species. The crew who are on who are the ancestors of Buzz's, don't want to leave their new home, so why would they bother making a new Star Command? And obviously this is a new Star Command because the old Star Command is probably still around Earth. We don't know. I mean, hell, Earth could have been destroyed at this point, and they would never know anything because they don't have contact with them. And they can't or at least they don't contact them in the movie. Although the storytelling is kind of poor, or the editing at least, and it makes it seem like they do at some point. Like the replacement for Hawthorne after she dies says that Star Command has decided that I'm going to be the new leader, and we're shutting down we're shutting down your program, and we're going to kill your cat. So who's Star Command? Just the guys in charge, or did I actually have contact with Earth Star Command? And it's just like the Delta Quadrant in Voyager, where at some point Voyager could send messages to Earth. It would just take a really long time to get there. So they can send messages. It takes a really long time to get there, and a really long time to get back. So maybe, but they don't address that in the movie at all. It's just ignored. It's brushed over. Another problem: if Sox was able to figure out the formula for the proper lithium crystal, or whatever you want to call it, in 65 years, why couldn't the other computers be working on the formula? Sox is a therapy cat. He's supposed to be working on, how making someone feel better who has trauma. You think the Onion, as they called it, their giant ship, their Enterprise, would have a supercomputer on it, and it'd be able to figure it out. Or they'd have a bunch of computers. Instead of trying to send people up there to test new crystals, especially after the first one failed and Buzz went missing for 4 years, they should have put a hold on it, said, okay, we're going to finish, Buzz, we're going to finish the mission, don't worry. But we're going to take every computer we got and have them working on this formula to try to figure out one that will actually work, instead of just testing and trying new ones every 5 seconds. Every time Buzz gets back. Because the only thing damaged in the crash on the main vessel, on the Onion, as Buzz calls it, was the engine, at least the film says. So, why wouldn't the supercomputer work anymore? And if you're not going to travel through space with a supercomputer, it's kind of pathetic. I know they show that they have, some little tiny computers that are, little tiny AI that you have to blow into like an old Game Boy game. That's probably just a joke because it's supposed to be in the 90s, but, it's really not. Because if it was in the 90s, they should have had someone like Brendan Fraser as Buzz, because Chris Evans was not a star in the 90s. He was a star in the thousands. So for the 90s, like Brendan Fraser, or Tim Allen himself. Tim Allen did action films. He did Galaxy Quest. So they should have gotten some 90s star. Nicolas Cage, maybe. Somebody who was really big in the 90s, if it's supposed to be a movie that came out in 1995. Also, if it's a movie that came out in 1995, it wouldn't have had so much representation in it. Just saying. Nothing against it. Just saying. But also, as I said, where are the aliens? On the series, yeah, their humans of every color. But they also had the Blue Princess girl on his team. They had the big red guy on his team. They had the little robot guy, which I guess Sox could be his replacement. But they could have had both of them, because the robot guy was an action fighter, while Sox was just there for tech support. So the robot guy would be Data, and Sox is like R2, but he could talk. Human, at least. Because Because R2 could talk, he talked in Orabush. If you need the little text screens. On a more personal note, Buzz and Zurg should have really compromised, at least this version of Zurg, because this version of Zurg is really Buzz from the future, even though he's evil Emperor Zurg. What's he Emperor of? If he's just Buzz from the future, what's he an Emperor of? What alien race is he an Emperor over? Because in the series, and even in Toy Story, the first Toy Story, defending the galaxy from the evil Emperor Zurg. Okay, this Buzz killed the old Buzz. They blew the ship up. He's dead. So, who the is he an emperor of? And I get they're trying to lie and say, oh, the director and writer of this movie is a huge Toy Story fan, and it takes a fan to write a good movie. Where, as I said, I liked the film. It's a decent kiddie film. But if you're that big of a fan, you think you'd be able to know that it was the evil Emperor Zurg. It's a pun on those old sci-fi serials, like Woody's Roundup is a pun on the old Western serials that were on TV. That's why the cowboy and the spaceman don't like each other, because those genres fought on TV in the 70s for dominance. And it's supposed to be some big thing. But let's get back to this version of Zurg. He's just another timeline version of Buzz, who went really far into the future and traveled a lot and tried to perfect the ability to travel in time. So Buzz wants Hawthorne to be able to still have her family. That's his main thing. That's why he doesn't want to finish the mission. Well, she met her wife sometime around the third run that Buzz took. So go back to that time period. Boom. She'll love her family, and they'd still be young and healthy enough to be Space Rangers. I don't know how they got their child, because obviously it's two lesbians. Maybe a male donated something. But she was pregnant, alive, and healthy during that jump. Another one. He could have jumped to then. So, then return. The two older friends that Buzz makes, Taika Waititi and the old lady, would obviously be alive. They'd be fine. He'd get to know them eventually, because they are like Hawthorne's child's age, or Junior's mother's age, around then, because they all the one is a definite old lady with all gray, and the guy is starting to get salt and pepper. So he doesn't get to meet Hawthorne's grandchild until she's a really little. Big freaking deal. Maybe she'll grow up to be a space ranger like her mother, or maybe her father or mother, because, Hawthorne would go back to being a space ranger just like Buzz, and maybe her child will follow in her footsteps. Because the people that Buzz, they got lives here. They didn't decide to give up the space program and stay on the hellhole planet until after Hawthorne died. So there's an entire generation of people who wanted to get back to Earth for one reason or another. They wanted to go back to being space rangers, maybe to go see their families, and Buzz took that from them. Because the next generation or the third generation, I should say, so it'd be like Generation Z, doesn't want that. But who cares what Generation Z wants? They won't even know what happened. His crew, Buzz's crew, knows what happened. They lived through it, and you can erase all that. Yeah, they want their families, as I said. Okay, like Hawthorne, she said she only met her wife because they unthawed her. Apparently, they don't unthaw the Space Rangers at the same time as they unthaw the scientists when they go to a new planet. You think they have them both working out because you'd want the scientists to be protected by somebody, but I digress. So in reality, if Buzz went back after a third or fourth jump after they lived for a couple of years on that planet, then yeah, the couples would have already started forming and people would have gotten married and they would have had their families. So none of that would have changed. Maybe later on their children's couple parenting would have changed. But who cares at that point? You get to save those people. You know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So in other words, just that girls talking to Hawthorne was more meaningful than everybody else. No. And I know they did it for a sympathy message about, be happy with the Ev and all that kind of shit, but still. They could have just planned a tad better with that, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So, I know no one watched this, but thanks for watching and have a good one. That's my typical sign off.